Going up against Ren Toshioka, batting first for the Screaming Eagles. Toshioka, the leading batter for Southern Indiana.
We weren't sure if we were going to see Toshioka in this game. He injured himself after the first 2 games of the season. He was batting .400, which is pretty great, so I'm sure the team is happy to have him back.
A cool .400 for Toshioka as he sees ball one there, 1-1 early. Toshioka stands in and sees that one line right back up the middle. And Christian Moore ranging to his right. Toshioka slides and he's safe. He got down the line quickly there. What a hustle play in AB #1 for Toshioka.
Absolutely incredible hustle from both Christian Moore and Toshioka. I mean, what an athletic play, going backwards and then turning and still making a really good throw to first base, but Toshioka slides, dives into first.
Christian Moore almost had the arm strength to get it there. But Toshioka in that left-handed batter's box got down the line quickly, and then just what a statement to open up this one, sliding head first at first base. He's got some speed down there. Seacrest will check on him. Batting second for Southern Indiana, Caleb Niehaus. He'll play shortstop today. As the 1-0 is in and fouled back here at us, it'll be 1-1. Southern Indiana, located in Evansville, Indiana. About 5 hours away from us here in Knoxville. If you're looking at a map, about 2 hours west of Louisville, about 2.5 hours north of Nashville. School now in their second season in Division I college baseball. As mentioned now in the Ohio Valley Conference. They lost in round 1 of the conference tournament last year as Niehaus hits that one back to the screen.
I'm sure it was a big adjustment for these players going up into Division I. It's a big change, so I'm sure they had several mental things that they were working through, physical things, and Toshioka will try to get second, but he is thrown out.
Looks like Seacrest caught Toshioka leaning just a tad off first. Blake Burke calmly throws it down to Dean Curley, who politely taps him on the head for out #1. More on Dean Curley coming up. He had himself a night, the freshman phenom, at the dish a night ago, as that one is swung on and missed. Strike 3, the first strikeout tonight for Xander Seacrest.
Now batting the designated hitter, number 32, Tucker Ebest.
Number 32, Tucker Ebest, will step to the plate for Southern Indiana. 2 outs quickly here in the first after Toshioka reached on the infield single. Pick off, and now just 7 pitches in, the 8th upcoming from Seacrest is swung on and missed, 0-1. Ebest, a senior from Austin, Texas, sees this one in and sharply hit on the ground. Christian Moore is there. Throw down low. Blake Burke able to snag it off the ground.
That's really tall, 6'6".
Wysott here in his first season at Southern Indiana. Has a no-hitter under his belt back in high school. And he pitches in strike #1 to Christian Moore. Christian Moore, without a doubt, one of the leaders on this team here in his junior season. The second baseman from Brooklyn, New York, sees that one skid by. 2024 Golden Spikes Award preseason watch list. Preseason All-SEC second team. He is just one of the plethora of bats that Tony Vitello can throw out on any given night.
He's having a heck of a year so far, defensively and offensively. I mean, we saw him almost make that incredible play at second base earlier in the game. Also, hitting-wise, I mean, he hit a home run yesterday, and that's what he's been doing. He's leadoff, but he's also known for his power. He does a great job at hitting the long ball, but then also seeing a lot of pitches and getting a lot of information back to his teammates. So he does a great job in the leadoff position.
You mentioned seeing a lot of pitches. That's exactly what you want to do as a leadoff batter. Just get on base. He's got 11 walks as well this season, batting .383 for the Big Orange, and he'll line that one up the middle. That's the second baseman fielding it to his right and firing over to first for out number 1. Layden Crowden on the out, and will retire Moore here in the first.
It's a really tough out, but nice job by Crowden making that play for his pitcher, getting the first out.
Now up for Tennessee, wearing that number 25, Blake Burke stands in from the left side. We'll see that one go outside at 1-0. Burke had 3 home runs over the weekend for the Big Orange against Bowling Green. And he's got his eyes set on a UT program record for home runs, needing just 6 to tie his predecessor, Luke Lipsius, who manned first base for quite a few years here at Tennessee.
You want to talk about an intimidation factor. Him stepping into the box is an intimidation factor, 100%. He has so much power, but also he takes really good quality at bats. He doesn't swing at junk, very patient at the plate. I know Coach Vitello spoke to that, and he said he loves Blake Burke's most recent at-bats more than anything. He said he's kind of copying Kavaris Tears and going from one foul pole to the other, and that's extremely dangerous.
And Burke will line that one back up the middle. It's a hot shot. Fielding it to his left is the shortstop. That's Niehaus on out number 2. And you mentioned Burke. I know when he stepped foot here on campus in Knoxville, he kind of had that Ken Griffey Jr. almost S-type of swing. Grounds out for out number 1 here in the inning, and now Billy Amick will step in for the Big Orange. Amick, the Clemson transfer, reigning SEC Player of the Week, had one of the best weekends you could really ask for from any player in a lineup this past weekend. 4 home runs, 8 runs scored last week for Tennessee.
What Amick has been able to do so far for this Tennessee team is absolutely outstanding. Offensively, his bat just stays hot. He never gets cold. Defensively, he makes the plays that he's supposed to make, super solid there on the hot corner.
That one lined sky high into the outfield, calling off everyone is the center fielder, Thompson Allen, for out number 3. Clayton Weisheit comes in, watches Tennessee go up 3-up, and with you here tonight, Kalen Arnold, Zach Nelson here with you. Tennessee 5 games this week. One against Kansas State last night as Crowden squares to bunt, and it'll run foul. Southern Indiana here tonight, and then they will host the Illinois Fighting Illini this weekend for 3 games here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. So plenty of baseball on the docket here in March for Tony Vitello's squad. That one in from Sechrist will go outside, 1-1.
Sechrist is someone who the coaches have looked for as potentially that Sunday starter. We've seen him come in that slot a couple of times now, but still not 100% for sure if that's who they've decided to go with. We've seen a few people in and out, and I don't think that that spot has really been solidified yet. But I think that Xander Sechrist definitely has the potential to secure that spot.
That was really a question for Tony Vitello, I believe, coming into this season is who's going to be your Sunday night guy? And Sechrist, he's gotten 2 Sunday starts already this season. He's typically been the midweek starter for Tennessee as he gets strikeout number 2 there. And he really is. He's one in the running for that Sunday spot, and he's really trying to prove himself in these midweek contests to get the nod on Sundays.
Well, I think he just provides such a different look from some of the other pitchers like, A.J. Russell and Drew Beam, and recently we've seen A.J. Causey out there and Snead and those guys. He is so spinny, and he's able to throw that off speed so effectively.
As that one popped up and caught by Christian Moore.
But he's one of those pitchers that can pitch backwards, and what that means is that a pitcher is relying more on their off speed, more their changeups, curves, sliders when they're behind in the count, where you see most pitchers do the opposite. They rely on their fast stuff to get ahead in the counts or to come back when they're behind, but he's able to rely on those breaking balls and that changeup, and that's so different from what we see from the other pitchers on this staff.
And I think you make a really good point, because once you get to SEC play, every SEC team's going to throw out their best guy on Friday. And for Tennessee, right now, it's A.J. Russell typically, or A.J. Causey, and then you get a Drew Beam who can throw gas on Saturdays. And then if you can kind of give those SEC teams a different look on a Sunday, whether you come in tied in the series at 1-1 or even trying to go for the sweep, it's huge to have a guy like even Xander Sechrist, as you mentioned, pitching backwards. Plethora of arms for Tennessee, though, in that bullpen and in that staff. I'm sure Frank Anderson is not really shying away from that problem at all.
Definitely not. And Frank Anderson is such a talented pitching coach. He's able to develop his guys, and I think he knows exactly what he wants from this pitching staff. It's just going to be the guys executing the plan.
2-2 from Sechrist is lined back up the middle. Dying is that baseball, and it'll fall right in front of the center fielder, Kavaris Tears. Second base knock of the contest for Southern Indiana, and this time it's Tarek Thompson-Allen. He just kind of threw his hands out at that one, and it lands right in front of Tears. Nothing he could do about it for a base knock.
Right, he really didn't even finish his swing. Like you said, just kind of threw his barrel out there and made contact.
Thompson-Allen, one of those leaders on this team for Tracy Archuleta here in his 18th season. Thompson-Allen over there at first, the junior from Sioux Falls, Iowa. Also a speed threat down there at first base, as is the leadoff batter in Toshioka. And now Southern Indiana will do away for Ricardo Van Grieken. Sechrist working ahead here of Van Grieken. 0-2, looking to get out of the second unscathed. The 0-2, and he'll check on Thompson-Allen. And he'll check on him once more. Sechrist again recorded a career-best 2 assists in his season debut for Tennessee against Baylor back on February the 18th. Got those 2 innings of work. Likewise against Albany, struck out 3 batters in those 2 innings. And Thompson-Allen's off and running here, and Peoples will hang on to that one. It's a stolen base for Thompson-Allen, and Southern Indiana man in scoring position here in the second.
Southern Indiana is being really aggressive on the base pass this game. We saw earlier them try to steal second, then doing it here with Thompson-Allen.
Base knock away from taking the lead, but strike 3 is called. Xander Seacrest for Southern Indiana, and he will face Kavaris Tears to lead off, leading this team at 4-10, and he'll see that one sneak by. It's 1-0. Tears here in his redshirt sophomore campaign from Lewisburg, Tennessee. Kind of got some spot starts last season for Tony Vitello, but is an everyday player this season, and we have seen Tears really take off here this season. He started in 12 games, played in those 12 games, 12 RBIs, and 4 long shots this season for Tears.
Well, Zach, he's put in the work. He's put in the work in the offseason. He's been in the weight room. He's been in the cages. He's done everything that he could possibly do to round out his game. And Coach Vitello said that he's potentially the most well-rounded player that they have on this team now.
It says a lot with the guys on this roster, as he'll line that one right side into the shift, but it'll get by and down for a base hit. Kavaris Tears with hit number 1 on the afternoon for Tennessee. And he does what a lot of the guys do on this team, just gets on base.
That's what I love about Kavaris Tears. We've seen it multiple times already throughout this season. He does a great job of hitting with power, but he just gets on base. That's what he does best. He is consistently getting hits and getting on base for his team.
It'll do way for another sophomore in this lineup for Tennessee. Dalton Bargo will step to the plate. 385 hitter. 6th start this season for Tennessee. Bargo, one of those talented underclassmen for Tony Vitello. Tennessee actually goes 4 sophomores in a row, 4 through 7 spots today in this lineup. It'll go Tears, Bargo, Dreiling, and the transfer Cannon Peebles for Tennessee. Bargo, the sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska. Looking to get Tennessee back to Omaha once again this season. Really felt like Tennessee had an outside chance to get to Omaha last season, but they ran through the Clemson Regional and then the Hattiesburg Super Regional and made it back to Omaha again this season. Bargo will roll over that one. This could be 2 for Southern Indiana, and it is. What a pick down at first by the first baseman, Thomas Emmerich.
Southern Indiana has not come to play today. We have seen them aggressive at the plate, aggressive on the base path, and now super aggressive on defense.
Timely plays from Southern Indiana. Bargo just rolled over that one, and then the pick over at first by Emmerich. Quickly 2 outs, and Clayton Wyzot can kind of take a sigh of relief as he faces Dylan Dreiling, who did go deep a night ago against Kansas State, and that's kind of what you question into this one. Again, these guys are used to playing plenty of baseball, but they played 3 over the weekend. They got Monday off. They played last night as well. 15-5 win over Kansas State for the Vols a night ago. That was really one of the big wins for Tennessee so far this season. Their marquee win was on opening day against Texas Tech, but then a win against Baylor, and as well as Kansas State, 3 Big 12 opponents. The lone loss was in Arlington for Tennessee in the Shriners College Showdown. Oklahoma, another Big 12 school, taking down Tennessee 5-1 in extras. As Dreiling will see that one in for a strike at 2-2.
Coach Vitello didn't put his team in that tournament for no reason. He knew the quality of teams that they were going to be facing, and he wanted that early on in the season. He wanted his team to play against competitive teams like the ones that they saw in Arlington so that their weaknesses could be exposed and they could work on them quickly, make that quick turnaround, figure out who they want in the lineup, where they want to put these players. Just makes it easier going into postseason. Their guys have faced incredible teams already.
Tony Vitello not afraid to schedule good competition early. They've been to Arlington a couple years now. They took a trip down to Houston, also playing in the Round Rock Classic. One of the first few seasons here on Rocky Top for Tony Vitello. So whatever you can put your team through, put them through the ringer early on. Because everyone knows once SEC play starts, it is top 25 or even top 10 team weekend after weekend. Dreiling sees that one just outside, and Tennessee will get their second base runner of the contest.
Now batting the catcher, number 5, Cannon Peebles.
And this is a dangerous spot for Southern Indiana. This Tennessee team is known for 2-out rallies so far this season. They are great with runners in scoring position.
A tough couple of batters to face here if you're Wysite. Peoples, the transfer from NC State, and then, oh yeah, the kid that hit 3 home runs last night. And Dean Curley on deck. Peoples kind of struggled off to begin the season, but you look up and you see he's batting .361. He has settled in nicely for this Tennessee lineup. And we'll see that one in for a strike, and quickly Wysite ahead in the count 0-2. Wysite's 0-2. Swung on and missed. Filthy off speed in the dirt. And he will walk off the mound and get a big strikeout of Cannon Peoples here in the second. We're still knotted up at 0. Capus, Boyd, and Tashioka here in inning number 3. The southpaw delivers down low and in for a strike, 0-1. Go ahead and set that Tennessee defense for you from left to right. Dylan Dreiling, Kavaris Tears, and Dalton Bargo patrolling the outfield tonight for Tennessee. Third to first, Billy Amick, Dean Curley, Christian Moore, and Blake Burke, the battery mate of Cannon Peoples. And Xander Seacrest on the bump here for, again, his 3rd inning of work. You got to credit both of these pitchers here tonight. They're throwing strikes in efficient 27 pitches so far tonight for Xander.
Extremely efficient we've seen so far from, like you said, both pitchers, Seacrest and Wysite. They've done a really good job of getting ahead in the count. And Seacrest shutting it down with a strikeout on a nasty breaking ball.
You see this one here working outside back in. That was filthy, as you mentioned there, Kalen. 4th strikeout of the night for Xander Seacrest. He's faced 8 batters. He sat 4 of them down via the K. Now face number 12, Cameron Boyd, batting 9th today, the left fielder. And rolled an inside strike at 1-1. 231 on the season is the average for Boyd. He started in all 11 games. He's also got 3 stolen bases on this season. And that's something Southern Indiana will do. They've already got 1 stolen base on the night. As that one runs outside. They are 22 for 23 on stolen bases. So if you get on base, Screaming Eagles are going to run.
I love that part of the game. I think that effective base running can absolutely kill a defense by putting pressure on them. And Xander Seacrest killing this pitch here for strikeout number 5 today.
That's going to be the problem for Southern Indiana. Can you get on base? Seacrest has been clutch early. 5 Ks for the lefty. This senior leaving no doubt a couple of soft hits up the middle. Not very high exit velocities off the bat for Southern Indiana so far, but you'll add those 2 singles in the scoring book as they're back to the top of their order. And Ren Tashioka. Flash you back to the first. Tashioka hit a soft grounder up the middle and dove down at first base to get the hitting started for Southern Indiana. And you know, here in his senior season, who's already seen an injury so far this year, he's going to lay it all out there here in the senior campaign. Seacrest just 36 pitches in, number 37 on its way in the 2-1. Just outside. Tashioka, a .391 hitter, will bloop this one out of play, back behind the screen. And the count will run full. The pitch is upstairs, and Tashioka has got on base for the 2nd time tonight. He's 1 for 3 now on stolen bases on the season, but got to think 8 in blue will be on the run here.
I completely agree, especially after seeing the aggressiveness earlier when he tried to steal second base. I'm sure he's going to be out there trying to mess with Seacrest.
Caleb Niehaus sees that one in at 0-1. Same position we were in the first inning. Tashioka down at first, Niehaus at the plate. And Tashioka was caught leaning, and Blake Burke was able to fire it down to Curley for out number 1. The 0-1. In there for a strike. A nice pitch there from Seacrest at 86, and it'll be 0-2. Niehaus, the sophomore from Newburgh, Indiana. That one almost got away from Burke, Tried to fool Tashioka on that one, I believe. Niehaus named OVC All-Freshman Team a season ago. Looking to string together an inning for Southern Indiana. Out hit Tennessee so far 2-1. And you can tell Seacrest's a little worried about Tashioka down there at first base.
He's definitely paying attention to him. He's not letting him get too far.
One, two is fouled back to the screen.
I really like how Seacrest is competing here against Niehaus. He's, throwing a lot of pitches on that outside corner, trying to get him to swing at a pitcher's pitch, which is basically a chase pitch where you try to get the hitter to swing themselves out.
At 1-2 is line right side on the ground for a base hit. Toshioka will slam on the brakes. It's a 2-out single for Niehaus, and Southern Indiana's got something cooking here in the third. There's a phrase, you hit them where they ain't, and that is exactly what Niehaus did. Moore shading up the middle and laces that one right where the second baseman would typically be. And now a big opportunity for the 3 spot in this lineup. Tucker Ebes, the senior from Austin, Texas, steps in. The DH, 5 RBIs, 1 home run, batting .333 here in a senior campaign.
I completely agree with your previous statement. We're seeing a lot of fight out of this Southern Indiana team so far in this game. They're really not willing to go down.
Sechrist will have to throw this one down. You got to give the edge to the pitcher here, especially on a lefty-on-lefty matchup. Christian Moore shading pretty much right where the second baseman would be, but he's standing on the outfield colored grass, as the turf is, and Dean Curley's going to call everyone off here and make the grab for out number 3. Southern Indiana gets 2 on, but they form, which is just ridiculous to think about and say out loud. So Curley, who is red hot, will step in. 348 on the season, 6 home runs, 17 RBIs. And that was one of the question marks for Tennessee coming into the season is who's going to be our starting shortstop? I think Curley answered that question.
I agree. Give it to the kid with the hot bat. It's amazing seeing what he's able to accomplish so far in his freshman season. Usually you don't see freshmen come out and be that successful. Usually freshmen are going to do freshman things and they're going to learn, and I'm sure he's still learning. Everything is still a learning experience for him. He's still being put in situations that are uncomfortable, but he's really rising to the occasion here.
This is Curley's 9th game. He's had 9 starts. He's got over half of his RBIs last night. It's just crazy to think about. As Curley will see the 1-2, and I apologize to Dean. I believe we jinxed him there as he strikes out swinging here to begin his night.
Well, this is a game of failure, right? Baseball. You're going to have nights where you hit 3 home runs, almost 4, and then you're going to have nights where maybe you strike out here and there, and that's just part of it. You've got to be able to accept that failure and move forward.
That's a great point. Baseball really is a game about failure. Get 1 out of 3 hits and you're in the majors.
Exactly. You're considered really, really good if you're hitting 3 times out of 10, which is 300. And if you look at that, though, you're still failing 7 times.
Oh, the game we love. Ethan Payne will step in for Tennessee, batting a cool .500. Payne with his 7th appearance this season, 2nd start, and he'll ground out to first here for out number 2. What has been a really bleak day here in Knoxville has turned into a beautiful evening here tonight. That beautiful sunset out in right field, a crisp 57 degrees. Just typical East Tennessee weather in the 70s earlier on this week. Now we're sitting at 50, but it rained all day today. It's humid out there, but it is beautiful here tonight. As we're back to the top of the order for Tennessee, Christian Moore will step in and wave at that one. It's 0-1. I mentioned Sechrist with just 48 pitches in tonight, working efficiently. And oh yeah, the starter for Southern Indiana, Clayton Weisheit, 38 pitches, 2 innings gone in the third. will come home with the 1-1. And that one will skip by the catcher. It's 2-1.
You love to see those low pitch counts. It means that your pitcher is getting the job done. He's getting ahead, he's throwing strikes, getting strikeouts, or letting his defense work. It also means that you can throw them a little bit longer. They're not putting as much stress and work on that arm.
And Christian Moore will line that one over the second baseman for a base hit. Christian Moore will watch that one bounce in, and it's a 2-out single for Christian Moore.
And this is where Weisheit is going to have to adjust, because guess what? That's what these Tennessee hitters are doing. They've already been through the lineup one time. Now Christian Moore is coming back up, and he's ready. He's made his adjustments. He knows what his plan is, so Weisheit is going to have to adjust as well.
They've seen Weisheit already once, as you mentioned. Good call there, partner. It's going to be tough dealing with this Tennessee lineup a second or even a third time through, as that one's a quick check down at Moore at first. Now Blake Burke will step in. Talked about Curley's bat being red hot. So is 25 in these pinstripes for Tennessee, as that one is lined to the second baseman and grabbed on a line. Lane Croden, Southern Indiana. Croden happy to be back on the field here this season. Number 14, the junior, suffered a broken collarbone on opening day last year for Southern Indiana. That season cut short. Transfer from Three Rivers Community College. So happy just to have a healthy season so far for Croden. He's made a couple nice plays down at second. And he'll see the 0-2 in from Sechrist, trying to work quickly here in inning number 4. And that's strike 3 called. Xander Sechrist, have yourself a night. Strikeout number 6 for Z on the mound.
Xander Sechrist is shoving tonight. He is having a game. Beautiful pitches from Sechrist tonight on all aspects. I've loved his fastball. I've also loved his breaking ball.
And so Dylan here low, 1-0. We've talked about a couple times tonight already who's going to be that Sunday starter once it comes to SEC play for Tennessee. Well, here in a senior season, Xander Sechrist out there putting on a performance. Kind of a tryout here for Sechrist, back in his usual midweek starter position, as that one is lined and out of play.
One of my favorite things about Sechrist and his game is his position on the mound. Like, he comes out and he has a lot of confidence, and he even spoke to that. He said that this whole pitching staff is very swaggy. They have a lot of swagger, and he said out of all of them, he's the swaggiest, and I actually agree with him. I see a lot of confidence. Holy cow, another strikeout from Sechrist.
Strikeout number 7 from Xander Sechrist. And you got to think about it. If he calls his pitching teammates swaggy, does he consider Frank Anderson swaggy as well? That's the big question.
You know, I think you would have to, because he's the leader. So I would say he's got to have a little bit of swag about him.
He's the leader of the swaggy bunch. Anytime you see Frank Anderson make the brisk walk out to the mound, it's a swaggy strut out there for Anderson. As the 1-0 comes in, and that one's another base hit. Second hit of the night for Terrence Thompson Allen. He's got half the hits so far tonight, and Southern Indiana kind of trying to piece something together here with 2 outs in the 4th.
We saw something similar in previous innings. The Screaming Eagles not wanting to go down without a fight. They get 2 outs, and then they make something happen.
You mentioned not giving up with 2 outs. They're 3 for 6 at the plate tonight with 2 outs, batting .500. Lone man reached second base an inning ago for Southern Indiana. As that one is lined deeply into right field, back at the track, and the catch will be made by Bargo short of the short porch. A big gimmick on that preseason watch list for the Golden Spikes Award. And he's going to line that one over to the third baseman. Nice grab made over at third. Fired over to first in time for the out. It's Ricardo Van Grieken on the assist. Amick now 0 for 2 tonight. Credit Whiteside. He has came to pitch tonight on what is a kind of muggy night here tonight. Maybe the baseball's staying down a little more than what it typically would on a hotter night. And Whiteside's keeping the ball on the ground, and Tennessee's just strung together 2 hits so far tonight as Kavaris Tears waves at that one. 0-1.
I love how Whiteside is competing against this caliber of a lineup. 1 through 9 has potential to do big things, so he's really going at him. He's got a lot of confidence. He's not backing down. And with Amick, I wouldn't be surprised if he's able to adjust within his next at-bat. He's so consistent. But Whiteside is doing a fantastic job of keeping these ball hitters off the base path.
Well, rolled in a strike there at the numbers. 0-2. Whiteside here in his 6th contest so far this season. This is his longest outing so far this year. He's allowed now just 9 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned. He's gotten 2 strikeouts so far here tonight. That one into Tears. Back to the screen. Tears 1 for 1 tonight with a single. Back in the second. Mentioned swinging one of those hot bats for Tennessee at .425 so far this year. 1-2 is outside. Tennessee rocking the home pinstripes tonight. Also got to mention, Tennessee has gotten quite the wardrobe with their jerseys that they have as Whiteside gets strikeout number 3. He has came to pitch tonight.
Now batting the right fielder, number 16, Dalton Bargo.
But the reason I bring up the jerseys for Tennessee, Tony Vitello came out and said they're getting 7 new ones next season, so curious to see what those will look like. I'm a uniform guy myself, so I love Tennessee's looks that they have right now already. So we'll be curious to see what they come out with next season.
I'm also a fan of the looks that they have so far. I think the pinstripes and the cream are my 2 favorites, but when a team is this successful, I mean, they deserve to look good.
Look good, play good. They also will change up the venue next season. Already some new looks here at Lindsey Nelson Stadium. Down the first baseline, they added about 3 rows of seats. Down the third baseline just looks completely brand new here at the home digs for Tennessee. And then next season, the whole outside of the stadium will look completely redone. As that one is low to Bargo, 2-1. Tony Vitello here in his 7th season has really just turned what was not a phenomenal Tennessee baseball program into a national powerhouse. 3 trips to the College World Series, a couple SEC championships under his belt, new uniforms, and completely renovated stadium. Checking all the boxes as Tony Vitello.
He's definitely come in and made some things happen. Just like Weishaupt there with another strikeout on the night.
Tonight in Knoxville as we head to the 5th. Xander Sechrist back on the bump for inning number 5 of work. And he'll deal in a first pitch strike there to number 31, Tyler Capust. Capust, the senior catcher from Sellersburg, Indiana. One of 17 players on this roster from the Hoosier State. Southern Indiana also bolsters some national flavor with some a Japanese player, Venezuelan product, and a couple youngsters from Puerto Rico. As Sechrist continues to deal. Strikeout number 8 on the night.
I mean, it's an easy decision for the coaches to leave him out there when he's pitching this well. No runs on the board yet with 8 strikeouts, and I mean, he's still coming in and he's so effective. Only 59 pitches so far in 5 innings.
We've mentioned this word a lot tonight, efficient. Both pitchers so far this evening. The only downfall to this for Sechrist is he can't wake up on Sunday and go, I know I'm the starter today. But he gets a nice start here tonight on a Wednesday for Tennessee. Looking to cap off the midweek at 2-0, and he gets strikeout number 9. Loses the hat in the process. Xander Sechrist is balling tonight for Tennessee.
He's on fire. You know he's feeling good, and you know what that does for his teammates. I mean, they've got to be fired up for him. Hopefully fired up enough to where they can get the bats going next inning and get him a little run support.
Tennessee will have 6, 7, and 8 due up in inning number 5. Sechrist so far tonight, 4 2/3, 9 strikeouts, 4 hits. They've all been sprinkled in these innings, 4 singles at that. But he has struck out half of the batters he has faced thus far. And one of those singles was off the bat of the man at the plate. The senior from Saitama, Japan, Ren Toshioka. The 2-1 is in for a strike at 2-2. Sechrist looking for strikeout number 10. Won't get it, but rolling over that one is Toshioka. Fire over to first from Christian Moore is in time. And the Screaming Eagles go 1, 2, 3 in the... Is number 26, the junior from Brazel, Indiana. Gavin Morris will take over for number 25, Clayton Weishaupt. And what a night it was for Weishaupt. For Southern Indiana will close the book on him as Dylan Dreiling will see this 0-1 in. That one is blooped into left field and back over the left fielder's headed off the wall. Dreiling hit that one on a rope and it just kept on tracking, and Dylan Dreiling will slide in with a leadoff double.
Great hit by Dreiling, taking advantage of this pitching change. I know that it's a midweek and they want to get guys experience, but I mean, Weishaupt was dealing.
Weishaupt comes out, and the first batter that Morris sees doubles. Wyside's final numbers: 4 innings of work, just 2 hits given up, 4 strikeouts, 1 walk. He faced the 14 batters. And of course, no earned runs for Wyside. His day is complete. Got to tip your cap to 25 and blue from Indiana.
He had a great outing tonight against one of the most dangerous offenses in the country right now.
As now Gavin Morris will step in and see number 5, Cannon Peebles, step in for the Vols.
That pitch right there to Peebles, I don't know if that was a strike. That was a little low in the zone for me.
The 1-1. Off speed, catches the outside corner at 1-2. Morris so far this season, 10 1/3 innings of work. He's given up 12 earned runs. He's got a 10.45 ERA, 7 strikeouts to go along with 3 walks. All of his appearances have came out of the pen. And Tennessee has their first base runner in scoring position tonight. Dylan Dreiling down at second. The NC State transfer, Cannon Peebles, at the plate. The 1-2 is swung on and missed. Strike 3. That is strikeout number 5 for the Southern Indiana staff tonight.
The shortstop, number 23, Gene Curley.
Last night's hot hitter Dean Curley stepping up to the plate with Dreiling in scoring position. This would be a great time for the Volunteers to start putting some bats to balls.
And Dean Curley does that well. 333 average. Coming off the 3 home run night a night ago. Grand slam, 3-run shot, a 2-run shot. Freshman record for RBIs in a game here for the Vols. That pitch is swung on and missed, 0-2, as Morris works ahead of the count. The 0-2. Swung on and check swing, and he is gone. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and an out for Gavin Morris. 2 strikeouts quickly after the leadoff double from Dreiling. Just kind of an awkward swing there from Curley. Looked like he checked, but no, he went all the way around.
I think maybe he was just trying to get a little bit of a tip on that ball. I don't think he was trying to really make full contact because I don't think he really liked that pitch. I think he just wanted to stay in the at-bat, but wasn't able to make a decision soon enough or get a solid swing on it.
Now Tennessee will send a new man to the plate. Down in the 9 hole, Robin Villeneuve will step in. Talked about getting on base. Robin Villeneuve does that better than anyone in this lineup. And that one is pulled a strike on the outside portion.
Starting to see a little bit of a wider zone now from the ump behind the plate. He's calling some things low, calling a few pitches off the plate. It's great as a pitcher. You love that as a pitcher, but as a hitter, not so much.
That one will get by the catcher and roll all the way to the backstop. Capus couldn't hang on to that one, and now Villeneuve will have a batter just 90 feet away. Looking for Tennessee's opening run here tonight. Villeneuve batting .440 on the season. He bats .562 with runners on base, and he swings at that one. Gavin Morris, have yourself an inning. He strands the runner down. No runs across the board for either side. Southern Indiana hanging in, out hitting the Vols 4-3. They have put themselves in a good spot here with 4 innings remaining.
Very uncharacteristic for this Tennessee team for us not to see at least some sort of offensive production up to this point. They're so potent at the plate.
And that one is launched into the East Tennessee night, calling everyone off as Kavaris tears for out number 1. And you mentioned this potent Tennessee offense. Tennessee comes into this one on an 11-game win streak. And in those 11 games, they've outscored teams 132-35, which includes 5 run rule victories. So this is not something that we're used to seeing out of this Tennessee squad here in 2024. Sechrist will deliver in there for a strike. Xander's had himself a night, as we've mentioned, 9 strikeouts so far tonight. This is just his 21st batter faced and 70 pitches in from the southpaw. And that one's in there for a high strike at 0-2.
The offense is extremely lucky right now that Sechrist is pitching so well, because this Southern Indiana team, like we've previously mentioned, has been really aggressive. They've been aggressive at the plate, and they've been aggressive on the base paths. But Sechrist, he is shutting them down right now.
Sechrist will face number 32, Tucker Ebest, for his 3rd time tonight. This is the 3-hole spot in this order. That one is jacked out to center field, and it is off the batter's eye. Southern Indiana has came to play. The Screaming Eagles take their lead. It's 1-0.
We knew it was bound to happen at some point. Southern Indiana fighting and fighting and fighting at the plate. Solo shot. Really, I mean, it's not something that you want to happen, but is it detrimental? Not really. This Tennessee team can definitely come back. Offensively, we've seen them produce and hit so many home runs so far this season. Sechrist just needs to flush whatever just happened and continue to focus 1 pitch at a time.
Tucker Ebest recording home run number 2 on the season, the senior. You know that one feels good in your senior campaign. He had 12 a season ago for the Screaming Eagles. Now 14 in his career in Evansville, Indiana. Sechrist, and that one is fouled off at the plate. And don't get me wrong, in a tie game, the sense of urgency is there, but now you're down, so you got to feel like, okay, now we're trailing in this game. You got to think the bats will start to get going for Tennessee now as Sechrist fires in strikeout number 10 on the night.
I love that response from Sechrist. He said, I don't care whatever just happened. I'm still going and I'm attacking this hitter. And now he's...
We bring you back into Knoxville, Tennessee. A pitching change on the bump for the Big Orange as Xander Sechrist's night is done. And Sechrist will hand the ball over to the freshman, 6'2", from Cave Creek, Arizona, number 34, Derek Schaefer will get the ball for Tennessee. See Xander Sechrist there. His night is done. The 10 strikeouts for Sechrist in the 5 2/3 innings of work. Gave up just that solo home run to Tucker Ebest. And that is where we stand. 1-0 Southern Indiana as Schaefer comes in for Tennessee. Schaefer 5 2/3 so far this season. 5 hits, 4 runs given up. He's got 5 strikeouts to 5 walks here in his freshman campaign.
Xander Sechrist had a heck of a night tonight. Can't help but be proud of what he was able to accomplish. 10 strikeouts, that's his career high. His previous was 7. He did that twice last season, but coming out and just throwing a phenomenal game up to this point.
That one bounced in by Schaefer at 2-1. Sechrist was efficient tonight. He just hasn't had the offense to back him up thus far. Tennessee will have 4 more innings to work with. And that one in for a strike at 2-2. Schaefer fired that one in at 92. He'll work there in the low 90s. Shakes off a pitch and finds one he likes. The 2-2. Heater. Low, and the full count will come to number 3, Thomas Emmerich.
Schaefer giving a little bit of a different look here, coming from the right side with a little bit more velo. We saw Xander Sechrist previously sitting anywhere between 85 and 87 consistently, where Schaefer's going to stay around the low 90s. He also has a true curve and a really good changeup.
Schaefer, the freshman, he's got a plethora of pitches to work with. The righty at 6-2. Looking to get back in the dugout and get the bats rolling for Tennessee. And that'll be a 2-hopper to Curley. Fire over to first is in time for out number 3, but not before of them from Christian Moore. A single back in inning number 3. The junior looks to get a rally going for Tennessee as they trail this one here on a Wednesday, 1-0 in a midweek contest. Pitches upstairs to Moore at 0-1. Gavin Morris in on his 2nd inning of work. In relief of the freshman starter Clayton Wyside, who had himself a night, but then Morris followed up his 1st inning of work with 3 strikeouts, straining Dylan Dreiling at 3rd. That one is swung on and missed by Moore at 1-2. It'll be Moore, Burke, and Amick due up for Tennessee, and those are the 3 guys you'd want up if you're Tony Vitello to spark a rally in inning number 6. And Moore launches that to right field. Where will that one land? Goodbye! Christian Moore has tied this one up with 1 swing of the bat, and we're knotted up at 1 in Knoxville.
Christian Moore answers the solo home run by Southern Indiana with a solo shot of his own. It's a ball game, ladies and gentlemen.
Christian Moore with a little Oppo Taco action. Hits that one on a rope. That one might have landed in the Tennessee River off a hop. The right fielder took about 4 or 5 steps, and watch out in the right field. That bus is in the danger zone. Christian Moore. Now another big bat for Tennessee. Blake Burke will step in. Burke 0 for 2 tonight. Still batting a cool .333 on the season. That one outside at 1-1. We are here in March, so figured got to mention a little bit about basketball. Both of these 2 teams' men's basketball programs in action tonight. Southern Indiana and Tennessee State will do away in the Ohio Valley Conference first round, as that one will hook foul down the left field line. They're still waiting tip-off in first-round action of the OVC tournament, and the Tennessee men's team looking for the outright SEC championship tonight on the road in Columbia, South Carolina. Tennessee leads that one 23-19. Jonas Adu with 8 points early for Tennessee. The 1-2, Blurt hits that one left side and foul. Got to give credit to Blake Burke. Watched quite a few of those games over the weekend against Bowling Green and then the game last night against Kansas State. A lot of what teams have done against Burke is shift over the right side, as the power bat does like to shoot a lot of the balls to the right side, but over the last 4 games when he's really gotten hot, he's shot a couple hot shots to the left side. That one's a hot shot to the right side, and it'll get down and under a glove for a base hit. Tennessee has found life here in inning number 6. Back-to-back hits for the Big Orange.
Blake Burke can find confidence in his preparation. He's put in the work. Like you stated, previously a pull hitter, that ball hit to his pull side, but he's put in the work in the offseason in the cages to be able to be that oppo hitter, make him just as dangerous, being able to go foul pole to foul pole. Another hitter able to go foul pole to foul pole is this one stepping up, Billy Amick.
Billy Amick will step in. And you really watch a lot of college baseball. You really haven't seen a hitter like Amick so far this season. You've got a couple guys that Georgia and Georgia Tech, their names just slipped my mind, that have been really hot bats so far this season with multi-digit home runs, but Billy Amick has been impressive. The 19 RBIs really jumps out at you through 13 games. And it looks like I might have a defensive substitution here. No, that's Layton Croden. He was down at second. Just an equipment malfunction, maybe? And now Billy Amick will step in. Amick at 365. They shade him to the left as the second baseman is lined up right up the middle at second base. Amick, the Clemson transfer. As the 0-1 in from Morris is swung on and missed. And you got to think back to when Billy Amick played at Clemson. They hosted Tennessee in the Clemson Regional. Those 2 games that Tennessee played against Clemson, or excuse me, just the one, as Charlotte made it to the regional final. That game, Clemson and Tennessee, was a fiery one at that. And Amick looked over there and goes, I kind of like those guys. As he strikes out there, Amick 0 for 3 on the night, uncharacteristic from 11 in white for Tennessee.
Now batting the center fielder, number 21, Tavares here.
Gavin Morris has had himself a night. 4 strikeouts. Striking out some of the best bats in the nation so far. He'll face another one, the 415 hitter, Kavaris Tears. Tears with 4 home runs, 12 RBI this season, and that one will stay just there for K-Pust.
These Southern Indiana pitchers, I think they're really kind of feeding off of each other. Coming out, Weishaupt having a fantastic performance, and now Morris just riding on that, riding on those tails.
Southern Indiana coming into this contest 4-7 overall, again just in their second season in Division I college baseball. They started 0-4 to begin this season. All 4 of their wins so far have came at home, looking for their first win outside the friendly confines. Tears will roll over that one. Will that one shoot the gap? Yes, sir, it will. Rounding first, or now to second, is Blake Burke. He'll slide in, and Tennessee will have runners on the corners for Dalton Bargo.
Great hit by Tears, able to advance Burke, and that's one of my favorite things about Blake Burke's game is his running ability on the base paths. He may not be the fastest guy, but he's got the base running IQ, and he is not afraid to take extra bases.
Tennessee now with the go-ahead run at third base, just 90 feet away, 1 out here in the inning. That one in at 84 from Morris. Now Bargo just trying to do his job. Again, a base hit would be great, but get this one deep in the outfield, and Burke can score from third. Tennessee has not led. Southern Indiana, if you're just joining us, took the lead on a solo home run in the 6th. All of our offense has came here in the 6th. Christian Moore with a solo shot here in the inning, and this is where we stand, 1-1. In the bottom of the 6th. Burke at third, Tears at first, Bargo at the plate for Tennessee. The 2-0 is called, strike 2-1. The pitch is blooped left side. That should be enough. Burke will race in from third. The throw is cut off, and Tennessee's got a 2-1 lead.
Situational hitting at its finest. What a quality plate appearance by Bargo. With that sacrifice fly, able to score his teammate Burke.
And Bargo does his job. Gets that one flied out to Cameron Boyd there and left. Boyd couldn't get it there just deep enough. For Giedis on the hill for Southern Indiana. And that one tipped at the plate. As number 8, Dylan Dreiling will step in. Giedis, as we mentioned, a freshman, has worked just 2/3 innings of work so far this season. He's got 1 strikeout and 1 walk. Dreiling will lay off that one. It's 1-1. They have went to the halftime locker room in Columbia. Tennessee on top of South Carolina on the hardwood, 35-24 at the break. Dalton Connect, 14 points for Tennessee, as offense stealing his Tears. Swung on and missed, though, and strikeout number 1 for Giedis. And Southern Indiana gets out of extended trouble, but Tennessee takes a lead. We're 2/3 of the way gone, 2-1 Tennessee. Action this season. Total just 3 innings of work, 1 earned run, 2 hits given up, 4 strikeouts for Kirby Cannell. He will face 6, 7, and 8 in this Southern Indiana order. Thompson Allen, 2 for 2 today. The center fielder will step in to face Kirby Cannell here on the 7th. That one rolled low at 1-0.
Kirby has come in this season in a lot of tight spots. That's actually normally where you see him coming in when they need someone to throw strikes. They need someone to make a statement. He definitely makes a statement. He's got all the personality in the world with the mustache and the unbuttoned jersey top.
Can't tell if that's 2 or 3 buttons undone. But either way, Cannell strutting his stuff here in the 7th, quickly ahead of Thompson Allen at 1 and 2. Digging the turquoise glove as well. That one's strike 3. Kirby Cannell with a punch out here in the 7th.
And that's what he does best. He comes out and he gets things done. He's extremely effective.
Nice look there. 11 strikeouts today from Tennessee pitching. 20 strikeouts combined from these two stabs. And what has been a defensive contest, to say the least. And that's another thing Cannell does well, is he steps in and he throws strikes at you.
I think he's a great example to some of the younger pitchers on staff. That one lined out to tears in right field. But he comes in and he gets quick outs. Like you said, he's effective. He throws strikes. He gets the job done. He does what his coaches need him to do and what his team needs him to do.
You mentioned the older classmen in Kirby Cannell, the older statesman here in his 5th season on Rocky Top. 2.77 ERA as they'll get a slow roller over to 3rd. And firing over to 1st is Billy Amick for out number 3. And hit for Cannon Peebles. As we've got a new pitcher on the hill for Southern Indiana. It is number 13, the junior right-handed pitcher, Tyler Hudson. Hudson comes in with a 3.24 ERA, 0-1 on the season, 8 1/3 innings of work. The 1-2 count upcoming from Hudson. Is grounded foul down the left side. Tennessee clinging to a 2-1 lead here in the 7th. The Vols both runs coming in the 6th, as did the lone Screaming Eagles run.
Nice look by Hunter Inslee, going 2-2 in the count.
Hunter Inslee stepping in with the 2-2. The pitch is low, and it'll run full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Inslee digging in for the first time tonight.
Coach Vitello was really excited about Inslee's performance last night.
And that one will go off the pitcher, but a nice glove grab made there by number 13, Tyler Hudson, for the first out in the 7th.
Now batting the shortstop, number 23, Dean Hurley.
Inslee hit on a rope back up the middle, but Hudson jabs out that left hand and keeps the ball in front of him for out number 1. Kevin, I know you were a pitcher back in the day, still pitching as well though, but how does it feel when the ball comes right up the middle right at you?
It's not a great feeling, but it depends on how hard it's hit. And fortunately for me, that was something that in college we practiced a lot, was fielding, pitcher's fielding practice. We called it PFPs. And being able to field your position and make solid throws, knowing the shifts, knowing the defense, I think it's so important that pitchers are able to do that for themselves.
I've got to ask, did you ever have to wear one in a game? That just came right back at you.
I actually did, but it wasn't until I started playing pro ball, actually. I never got hit until pro ball. We were playing just a fun game against Team Canada, helping them get ready for the Olympics. And Jen Salling, who is a phenomenal hitter and coach. She now coaches at UCF, but she was playing for the Olympic team. She was a great player at the University of Washington. She hit one right back at me, and it hit me in the calf. And I will say that thing knotted up and hurt for weeks.
Curley strikes out there. Yeah, I played some softball in my day. None against Team Canada or anything. Just church league softball or whatnot.
It's close to the same thing.
They take it about the same seriousness.
I'm sure.
As Robin Villeneuve steps in with 2 outs in the inning. Villeneuve came in inning number 5 to take over for Ethan Payne in that DH spot. Villeneuve 0 for 1 tonight, struck out back in the 5th.
Villeneuve is a player that Coach Vitello feels brings some toughness to the team. He works really hard. He goes really hard in practice and in the weight room. He really likes him, wants to have him in the lineup as much as he can.
And that hard work off the diamond has really produced here thus far for Robin Villeneuve. Again, batting .423, but another strikeout for the Southern Indiana staff. They are hanging in this 1-2, due up in the Screaming Eagles lineup. And they'll face the stash. Kirby Cannell now in for inning number 2 of work, and he's doing just what he did back in the 6th, firing strikes in. The 7th, excuse me. Cannell's 0-1. That one hit to the right side. Blake Burke will field it and tap on first for out number 1. So Southern Indiana's lone run coming off the solo home run by number 32, Tucker Ebest. So now they've got 5 outs to work with, and you really got to think right here in the 8th inning is where the Screaming Eagles need to do their damage. Back to the top of the lineup, and their best hitter in Rin Tashioka. Tashioka has reached base twice so far tonight, a single in the 1st, walk in the 3rd, and grounded out in inning number 5. And this kid can scoot down the line, head first slide back in the 1st to get that single to begin this contest.
Kirby just needs to continue with his plan. He's done so well up until this point, throwing strikes, attacking hitters.
That one fired in at 88 from Cannell. He'll deal the 1-2. Low and away at 2-2. One gone in the 8th. Southern Indiana looking to get a rally going, and Tashioka will foul that one off.
Tashioka trying to stay alive here. Wasn't a great pitch to swing at, but he knew it was close, so he had to get at least some part of the bat on it.
Tashioka, a difficult batter to strike out, and Cannell knows that. And the count will run full to leadoff batter for Southern Indiana. The pitch is line left side. Dean Curley on one leg. He'll have to hurry with this one, and Tashioka beats that one out easily. It's a one-out base runner for Southern Indiana in the 8th.
Great hustle by Tashioka. Trying to make things happen for his team right now in the 8th. Tennessee leading by 1, but now tying run at first, winning run, or not winning run, run to go ahead at the plate.
And it's Caleb Niehaus who steps to the dish. Lefty on righty matchup here for 23 for the Screaming Eagles. The pitch. Upstairs, 1-0. Niehaus 1 for 3 tonight. He singled back in the 3rd. A .327 hitter. One of 4 Southern Indiana batters hitting over 300. And Cannell will check on Tashioka. Tashioka was thrown out back in the 1st, trying to steal. Good pickoff move from Seacrest. Got him leaning for out number 1 back in the 1st. And this is really kind of a tough situation if you're head coach Tracy Archuleta in his 18th season in Southern Indiana. You got to think, do you send him in motion here? They've been kind of aggressive all night. But you've got the young man that hit the homer, the solo blast. Tucker Ebest looming on deck. This one lined down, and Christian Moore will make a nice diving grab. One hops it to Blake Burke. What a play from Christian Moore for out number 2.
Christian Moore, he gets things going offensively, and then he turns around and he makes SportsCenter top 10 plays like that at second base. I mean, having to dive for this ball and then make a throw, not from a standing position, from an unbalanced position.
That saved a dangerous situation for Kirby Cannell, who would have had runners on the corners with Tashioka running. But now Tucker Ebest will step in. Lefty on lefty matchup. Ebest could tie or take the lead with one swing of the bat here. Ebest will look in on Cannell here. That one low and away. You see what he did back in inning number 6 off Xander Seacrest, the lone mark on Seacrest's night. A deep fly off the batter's eye to give Southern Indiana the lead. He's looking to do so once again. And that one kind of a cross-up between catcher and pitcher, as Cal Stark now behind the plate for Tennessee.
It was a different pitcher earlier in the game, though. The hit off of Seacrest.
The 1-2. Swung on and missed. Excuse me now, 2-2 from Kirby Cannell. Big strike there. Now 1 strike away from getting out of trouble here in the 8th. The pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Kirby Cannell, the stash, jumps off the mound and keeps that lit direction. And Christian Moore will lead off inning number 8 for Tennessee, looking to pad that 2-1 lead here for the Vols. That one away to Moore. And that one launched left field. Drifting in is the center fielder on the grab. It's Thompson Allen for out number 1. And you got to feel kind of sad for the local grocery chain or gas station, if you will, Weigel's. Weigel's has an NIL deal with Christian Moore, and every time Christian Moore hits a home run, you get a free Coca-Cola product at Weigel's the next day. And Christian Moore now has, count them up, 4 home runs on the season. He hit another one here tonight.
I think that's a great marketing strategy, honestly, because Christian Moore has hit so many home runs up to this point. A lot of people are going to Weigel's.
Weigel's is a local East Tennessee delicacy of a gas station for sure. As Blake Burke not happy with that pitch. It's 0-2. This one delivered by Hudson. Hit on a rope. Will it stay foul? It will not. Couple feet. Foul there from Blake Burke, but that one hit on an absolute rope. Tennessee looking to add some insurance runs in the 8th. The 0-2 to Burke is outside. The 1-2. As line left side and out of play. We'll redo the 1-2. Couple of updates for you as well on the hardwood again. Tennessee on top of South Carolina in men's hoops, 40-28. Again, a win in that will send Tennessee to the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament and the outright SEC championship. And Southern Indiana and Tennessee State doing battle in the OVC first round, knotted up at 23 apiece in the Ohio Valley Conference first round. But what a baseball game these two have delivered for us tonight. Their first meeting on the diamond in a 1-run game, and Blake Burke in a battle.
Blake Burke really fighting here. He's foul tipping, trying to wait to get his pitch. That's one thing that Coach Vitello said he's loved recently about Blake Burke's at-bats or his takes and his at-bats, waiting to get his pitch, and then when he does, he's able to just absolutely annihilate the ball.
9th pitch of the AB upcoming for Blake Burke. The 1-2 is lined back up the middle, but right at the shortstop, shading to his left, was Niehaus for out number 2.
Blake Burke, he goes down and gets that ball. I mean, the hits that he and Christian Moore both had this inning were solid hits. They just happened to be right to somebody.
You got to give credit to the pitcher there, Tyler Hudson. He did not make a business decision there. He stuck out that right hand and tried to grab that one. Probably would not want to do that on a Blake Burke liner up the middle, but
yeah, definitely not smart, especially, when that hand is worth probably a scholarship in dollars.
Hudson will deal here to Billy Amick, who is having a pedestrian night. 0 for 3 is Amick. Amick again, reigning SEC Player of the Week. We'll see that one roll to strike at 1-2. The 1-2 from Hudson. Just outside. Amick flew out to the center fielder in the first, grounded out 5-3 on the putout in the fourth, and struck out in inning number 6. The 2-2 is fouled back to the screen. Hudson's 2-2. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. And Southern Indiana sends 6 to the dish. Croden, Emmerich, Thompson, Allen will face Kirby Cannell, looking for a 3-inning save opportunity, as that one's in for a strike at 87, 0-1. Croden will see that one in. Off speed in there as well at 76, 0-2. Tony Vitello has turned to the grad student, the stash as they called him, to get big outs in big moments so far this season and in his career. Cannell has been on the staff for 5 of the 7 years that Tony Vitello has been the head man here, and he gets a strikeout. Big first out here in the 9th for Kirby Cannell.
Fantastic breaking ball, breaking the ankles of the hitter as that ball just dives into that back foot.
Now the 5-hole spot due up. It's number 3, Thomas Emmerich. That one's low at 1-0. Emmerich, a 188 hitter so far this season, 0 for 3 tonight. And he'll line that one over to the right side. Antigua in for defensive purposes, but flies that one into the dugout. And Emmerich will be awarded second base. Ariel Antigua came in for Dean Curling here in the 9th. It was a tough play ranging back to his right. Throws it into the dugout, and my goodness, what a golden opportunity for Southern Indiana in the final frame.
It's a tough spot for Antigua coming in off of that thumb surgery. They're just trying to get him some more experience. He's a fantastic shortstop, really good at gloving the ball, but just trying to get back into things, trying to get comfortable and a little bit more experience.
Runner on second is now number 7, Trent Robinson. As Kirby Cannell will work here against the man who's 2 of 3 tonight, Tarek Thompson Allen, with an 0-2 count. Lefty on lefty matchup. The 0-2. Strike 3 called. Thompson Allen goes down looking, and Tennessee is 1 out away from slamming the door shut in the 9th.
Kirby Cannell absolutely killing it right now. Like you said, that lefty on lefty matchup. You know, something interesting that I've noticed so far about Kirby is that he will pitch from the left side of the mound when he's throwing to a lefty batter and the right side of the mound when he's throwing to a righty batter. Because of his 3/4 arm angle, with a lot of breaking balls, the ball will start behind the left-handed batter. making it harder to track as it breaks across the plate.
That's going to be a tough look here for number 9, Ricardo Van Grieken. In the 7 spot, 0 of 3 tonight. He is the last hope for Southern Indiana. And he dribbles that one. Will it stay up in time? It will. And Ariel Antigua made the error in the inning, but makes the grab to end this one. And Tennessee takes a sigh of relief, a 2-1 win here today.